if you're teaching your kids, how do you teach your kids? What is it that you do differently, if you do anything differently? And I honestly, I do things slightly differently because they're my kids. Okay, you're not entitled to anything from me. I'm not obligated to give anything. I'm not expected, to be your best friend or to be your guiding light. As much as I seem like I am in the videos, it's because I'm talking to my kids, and that's why you have this connection with me, because you hear the sincerity in what it is I'm teaching, because I care about them receiving it from me. So it's like an archive of me teaching, instructing, encouraging my own children. So when I'm talking with a sense of sincerity and empathy, it's genuine because I have them in my mind. Now, invariably, sometimes I get a student that's outside my family tree, and they'll contact me and they'll say, hey, look, I really appreciate if you could do this, that. And I would touch on those topics, and or one of my kids will say, Dad, how do you deal with a situation like this? Or what if the market does that? Or how do you know when not to do something? Or when should you really push it aggressively? I'm going to talk a little bit about that, not so much today, but I want to give like a baseline on where you should be at when you first sit down to start learning how to do this. I'll push buttons in front of you. I'll talk about where the market should go. I'll talk about what PD array isn't so important to me at the time and why, and the ones that I think are important. So that way it kind of like filters out. And because I plan on doing this Monday through Friday, it will be a exercise for you. Now, if you are already profitable, whether you're using my concepts or a derivative of them, or you're doing something entirely different, it's probably better that you don't watch the live stream. Just do what you normally do, because I'm probably going to distract you, or I'll be a perfect excuse for you. If you take a losing trade, you'll say ICT caused me to lose money, and you won't take responsibility, and you need to be responsible. Okay. The things I'm going to touch on is obviously, where your mind should be every day sitting down in front of the charts. You have to have some reason to be in the charts doing it. So that's the reason why I started the stream at around 8 o'clock. I know it's like 7 minutes late, but you're not mind floater. Highly unlikely, but it's still an initial idea. So when you're first trying to learn how to read these markets, when you're first trying to determine where the market's likely to go, you have to strip away everything that you're trying to force into reading every single individual candlestick. And if you watch a lot of my videos, or if you have a lot of notes, or you've dabbled in things, chances are you probably already have a pet technique that you want to be yours. And you may not even be good at using it yet, but you just want it because it has a cool name. Like a Reaper fair value guy. When I taught that to my private mentorship, they're like, oh man, that's going to be my thing. that's going to be it for me, Or Event Horizon, which is the midpoint between two new week opening gaps or new day opening gaps. And because of the names, okay, these names are meaningful to me. They're not meant to inspire you to want to do them over another. It's just that's what I name them. I got 81 of these things, so it's a way for me to keep track of what its purpose was, and or it kind of puts a little stamp of when I discovered it and something had a impact on me and it was a cool name or inspiration to it. So when we're looking at price, as a brand new student not knowing what to do, you want to make this kind of like a game and a discovery, something fun. Not a video game, okay? But it's a game of determining, does it have what it takes to move to these highs here? A way of saying it to yourself that's very disarming. It's okay, I see how this is smooth. These two highs are relatively equal. That looks like a real nice, obvious flat space in price. We don't see that same flatness down here. You see that? So in other words, if you had a shark, if you had two sharks rather, You have two sharks in front of you. One has had its teeth removed. Well, that would be represented something like this. This is the shark with no teeth. It's basically got gums. Okay, there's no teeth there. Down here, there has been a shark attack. How do we know that? Because we can see the wounds from the teeth, the jaggedness, the jaggedness, the jaggedness, and now it's going to another frenzy or feeding. Where is that? Well, we've just created one. We have this high here that's really close to this one. You see that? So you observe price action, and you're looking for areas that look real smooth and safe. Where they say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them. Any time that you're looking at price action, and it doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at, okay? If you're looking at it through the lens of a second chart, sub 1 minute, or a weekly chart or a monthly chart or a quarterly chart where it's 3 months of data compressed in to make the candlesticks, it does not matter. This principle is always true. The market will go to an area of smoothness for the purpose of disrupting any orders that would be resting above or below it. We've already mentioned down here, let me show you. Now, don't be discouraged if you can't watch this stuff real time and see it or outline it in advance. It's okay for you to come home for work and look at your charts after the fact and go back and look at this and study it as if you have obviously the benefit of hindsight initially, but you don't want to stay in that very long. So you're going to have to procure yourself some instruments that will allow you to watch price action, not with market replay. I am not a fan of market replay. I absolutely loathe it. I hate it. I can't stand it, and I wish it wasn't available. I wish it wasn't even available to any one of us, because it's a crutch that allows frauds to be able to sound like they're smart and teach something because it's already happened. If you can do it over live price action, not just once in a while, but continuously, and your audience or viewership can see this, then you have earned the right to have a voice. And then people should have no problem sitting and listening to you lecture and talk about what you think is likely to occur, because you have a sound basis or foundation to what it is that you're talking about. And therefore, because you have a track record of being able to talk about it before it happens, it removes the anxiety that is reasonable for everyone to have when they first sit down and listen. But when you, as the student, and you don't have the ability to watch it live because you have a job or you're in university or you sleep, like you have to sleep, right? And your place in the world and your general geographic location may not be conducive for you to trade at 8:30 in the morning New York local time. You may have to trade in the London session. And yes, Virginia, I will be up during the London session doing one of these or two of these lectures in a week or two. Okay, so we're not focusing on one specific time of the day, and I'll come back to that section where I was telling you write down the times of the day in a moment. But when we're looking at it initially, you don't have to see this real time to get a collection of screenshots for your journal. But if you don't do this and journal and screenshot and annotate your chart and study how long price runs took place, how many candles did it take to move there, was there any kind of formation in the price delivery that would have caused you to not trust it unfolding? Now that's going to be very hard for you to do, because initially, especially the men, they're always going to say, no, I would have never second guessed it. It would have been easy for me to hold on to that. And these same people, when they get into a trade, if they ever were to do it in front of you, they don't have any conviction, and they're going to hurry up and bail out on the trade. Okay, I got to get out of this. I can't stand the pressure. It's moved 5 handles. But they call 30 handles or 50 handles above or below, and they get out of 5 handles because the pressure of it not doing what they expected to do, and then realizing a loss in front of someone, that's a lot more pressure for them, and they don't want to have that. So what's more important, their image or them following a model that they have seen works and have trusted and did the back testing and they have the data behind it, their image. And that's not someone you should learn from. Okay, I'm just tossing that out there. So what we're looking for always, the first thing that you're looking for, Caleb, is where is the market smooth on the 15, the 5, and the 1 minute chart. I knew it, ICT. Yeah, that's how it is. So when you're looking for the bias, okay, the easiest, most scientifically proven, 9 out of 10 doctors approve, ICT has nailed it down to a science of wherever the smooth equal highs are, or smooth relative equal lows are, at the beginning of 7 o'clock to 7:30, or 8 o'clock to 8:30, or 9 to 9:30. You have 3 opportunities, 3 chances, okay? As each one of these time windows passes by, so at 7 o'clock, we formed the relative equal highs. And then at 8 to 8:30, we didn't go up there yet. So that means that, 9 to 9:30, chances are that's the run. See how that does that? It increases the likelihood of it going there. It doesn't diminish it, because it's building up more trust in that area right there. So the framework begins at 7 o'clock in the morning. Start looking for relative equal highs to form. Not before. Key takeaway is not before 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, look for them to form. Big takeaway there. Okay, if you're looking for relative equal highs prior to 7 o'clock in the morning, you may get it, but many times you're expecting the London session to be completely overrid, and it's most times not the case. So it kind of like builds in this filter where you're not trying to demand that the run on London is removed or dismissed because of price overlapping it and going back over top of it. Because the general consensus is we could see the higher low of the day form in London. So if it's bearish or bullish relative to a higher time frame draw, which is not necessary. Notice I haven't even used that here yet. Only thing I used was a 15-minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame, and a 1-minute time frame. And I was framing it on the basis of time because I understand my algorithm. I understand what it's going to do. I understand exactly what these markets are going to do. Every single day. It will not stop. It will not be hidden from you, but it can be disrupted by manual intervention. And that will always cause me to lose. It will always cause me to be incorrect because that's something that we and no one can predict. It's their casino. If they want to come in and disrupt everything, it is what it is. And that's the inherent risk that every one of us has to assume while trading. So that should be the number one reason why you should never over leverage, because that is always looming. And we're in a condition in the marketplace right now in geopolitical tension and turmoil that is expected to unfold at any given time. Any moment, folks, things could pop off. And your little indicator or your little market structure idea, whether it be mine or somebody else's stuff, means nothing when that happens. It literally is cannon fodder. It's gone. You're dusted. And if you happen to be over leveraged when it happens, you're going to eat it. And sorry, but it's not going to be pleasurable. It's going to be a hard swallow and probably end you and take you out of the game entirely. And all of that is avoidable if you don't over leverage. If you trade with one contract and you try to capture moves like this, I promise you're going to beat the socks off of every one of the live streamers out there, and my students included. All of them that are doing well now, they're going to start applying this and watch and see how well they start increasing. And the people that don't like me, their trades are going to start working, and go back and look at what I'm taught you here. You're going to see that they're using this too. It's a secret weapon. I didn't want to give it to anybody. I did not want to give it away to anyone. It's a home field advantage, one of many that I have, but because I want my son to know what he's doing that's real simple. It's not complicated. It's one or the other. And if there's two extremes above and below the range, that's relative equal high and relative equal low, then you just wait for one of them to be disrupted. And just sometimes you'll miss a move. Sometimes it'll do it and then you won't get a trade. Who cares? Who cares? When you back test this, you're gonna see, like, what am I worried about, man? Like, this is so many times offered to me every single week. Right. That's the mindset you need to come away with. Not, I got to trade every single day. When it's so obvious, that's the ones you want to trade on. Because retail is going to have every hope and prayer hanging on those relative equal highs, thinking it's resistance. And they're going to eat them. They're going to devour them and grind their bones to powder. And you can have a moral dilemma and have some convictions about that being, well, I can't do that to somebody else. I can. Because they sign the same risk disclosure that I do when I open up an account. And if they make the wrong move, don't interrupt them. That's how you eat. That's how you eat here. And if you have a problem with that, then trading's not for you. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But hopefully you see that when we're doing this, we're not trying to be smart. We're not trying to be more popular than somebody else. We're not trying to get more attention and more viewership or more followers. We're in here to try to make money so that way you can make your ends meet. That's it. And some of you will supercharge that and become pillars in the community and titans and be so much bigger than I am. And I'm here to see it. I want to see it. I want to cheer you on. I'd love it for one of my sons to be that person. I've been trying to cultivate that since they were little. But they're individual personalities. And you know how it is. You don't want to listen to your parents. And even if your dad can do it and prove it over and over and over and over and over again, sometimes still isn't enough as a motivation to do it. Because you have to want to do it. And guess what makes that happen? When you make them work menial jobs and they hate it. And what's the alternative? College? That's out of the question. So do what works. Do what works and can be proven. I could do this in front of the Supreme Court. Right, just like I did today. I ain't afraid of it. I'm not afraid of this. And when you get that confidence, it's not arrogance. But when somebody doesn't know how to do something and they fail miserably, when they hear somebody talk like that, and when they see somebody display it, it's so uncomfortable. It's unbearable for them. So now you are a narcissistic jerk. You're arrogant. You're conceited. Okay. Is that going to make me lose money on the next trade? No. Is that going to make me forget that the logic that is being employed here? No. I'm not here for friends. I'm not here for friends. Neither should you be. I'm warming up to these candlesticks when it's appropriate. But when the date is over, I'm going home alone. They're not spending the night with me. That's all it is. It's a momentary engagement, and I'm leaving before any kids are made. Simple as that. I'm staying protected. I'm wrapping up. I got a stop loss. I know when to hit the brakes and go out the other direction. If it's a grenade, I'm getting out of there before it does any damage. And that's me thinking like a man. For the ladies, you come up with your own analogy. I'm not that good with it with the lady side. But hopefully you've learned something today. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to invite you all tomorrow to come back if you found this insightful. It'll be a little bit more technical tomorrow. Today was more or less the mindset, how to relax when you're watching the charts, and what to look for. So that way you're not holding so much expectation over yourself, and then you can enjoy studying.